Hello everyone, my name is Ajay and my topic to be presented is peer pressure. So I would like to start my presentation with a question. What is peer? This word peer is highly misunderstood by people as only the friends group that you accompany with, but it's actually not. It refers to all the people of the same age group that you are associated with. So why is peer pressure? Peer pressure is basically the pressure that we feel from the expectations of our good own friends. There is an anecdote or a quote which says, we become the average of the 5 people that we associate ourselves with. So it's totally our responsibility to choose our friends wisely. So one question to ask yourself is, whom do I want to spend more time with? Or who are the people when I am with them brings out the best in me? Or who are the people when I am with them I like who I am? If the answer to the question is yes, then obviously you are into a positive environment. But if in case the answer to the question is no, then perhaps the foundation itself is weak. So it's basically a desire to fit in, the need for affiliation, and basically there is a confusion between good and bad. Now let's look at the possible effects. Reluctant to show up, withdrawal from activities, low moods, making comparisons, and finally dramatic changes in lifestyle. I would like to give you an example of a tiger. The tiger roams alone in the forest. If required, it can roam along with a few other tigers, but it's quite comfortable roaming alone. So if you don't get much good quality company, it's okay not to have much company. There is a teaching in the Buddha which says, if you associate with the foolish, we also tend to be foolish. But on the other hand, on the contrary, if we associate with the wise, we also tend to be wise. Now let's look at the types of peer pressure. So I want to show you guys four major types of peer pressure. Two on the positive hand and 2 on the negative hand. Now let's consider these examples with the story. Ria is thinking about going to a party where she knows alcohol will be there. Her other friends convince Ria not to get into the party because they don't want Ria to get spoiled. Now because her peer circle is influencing her not to get spoiled, this is an example of external positive. Now the second example. A group of Ria's friends are smoking in a hidden room free from any supervision. No one asks Ria to smoke, but she tries smoking just in a desire to fit in. Now in this case, just because it is her own actions which is responsible for her getting spoiled, it's an example of internal negative. Now the third case study. Ted is with his friends at the beach. Penny, the girl, pulls out a bottle of wine and passes it to Ted. Ted passes the wine to Ria without taking a sip. Now because it is the action of Ted which is forcing Ria to take a sip of wine, this is an example of external negative. Now the final story. Ria started smoking 2 years ago. She heard some friends talking about going to a cessation class where she checked it out online and signed up for it. Now because she is taking voluntary action to refine herself, this is an example of internal positive. Now the other effects may also affect your behavior, like it can either go constructive or destructive depending upon the peer circle that you have. Response towards authorities, response towards parents and adults. Self-development can either be encouraged or discouraged, or you can either show good progress in academics or bad progress in academics. And finally, response towards substances and activities. Now let's jump into the solution of what can be done. Now before moving on to what I have up next, I feel that everyone should have that inward feeling of being okay with ourselves. Like one common mistake which I note personally with many of my friends is expecting validation from outside. We need someone to constantly provide validation to ourselves. But let's try to turn the situation around. We accept ourselves, appreciate ourselves, and provide validation to outside. Now also, however we are, whatever we are, we will always have all types of friends in life. We will have friends who are judgmental, we will have friends who support us, and we will also have friends who really don't care about us. So one important thing is to keep our minds balanced in all these situations. Now, saying no, this is one of the key factors in overcoming this problem of peer pressure, if in case it is negative peer pressure. Now, we have to think and analyze the consequences, choose friends wisely, and learning to differentiate are the important key factors in overcoming this problem if in case it is negative peer pressure. Thank you.